Val Kilmer has passed away at the age of 65, and with his departure, Hollywood has lost one of its most iconic and beloved talents. For decades, Kilmer wasn't just an actor, he was a presence, a symbol of a golden era in cinema where characters weren't just played, they were lived. From the moment he hit the big screen, Kilmer captivated audiences with a rare combination of charm, intensity, and vulnerability. He had that undeniable it factor, the kind of screen presence that couldn't be taught or replicated. Whether he was donning the flight suit as Iceman in Top Gun, stepping into the cape and cowl of Batman, or channeling the spirit of Jim Morrison in The Doors, Val Kilmer didn't just play roles, he became them. His artistry went far beyond action and drama. He had a gift for disappearing into his characters, giving audiences performances that were layered, powerful, and unforgettable. Every role he took on carried a piece of himself, and in doing so, he connected with people in a way that only a handful of actors ever truly do. Now, as the world processes the news of his passing, it's clear. This isn't just the loss of a great actor. It's the end of a chapter in film history. One that was shaped by a man who gave everything to his craft and left behind a body of work that will be cherished for generations to come. The news of Val Kilmer's death sent shockwaves through the entertainment world and beyond. Fans, fellow actors, filmmakers, and longtime admirers all shared a collective sense of grief, the kind that only follows the loss of someone who truly mattered. Social media platforms lit up within minutes. Tributes poured in from every corner of the globe. Emotional messages from co-stars, heartfelt reflections from directors, and touching words from fans who grew up watching his films. It became clear that Kilmer wasn't just respected in the industry, he was loved. Colleagues described him as a rare talent, someone who brought not just skill to his roles, but soul. Many recalled how his performances inspired them, challenged them, and reminded them of what it meant to be an artist. For fans, the connection ran even deeper. His characters weren't just entertaining, they were formative. They became part of people's memories, their childhoods, their love for cinema itself. In the days that followed, it wasn't just Hollywood that paused, it was the world. A collective moment to honor a man who had given so much of himself to his craft, and in doing so, became a part of so many lives. Val Kilmer's career wasn't defined by a single role, it was defined by his range. Over 4 decades, he built a filmography that was as diverse as it was unforgettable. He wasn't afraid to take risks. He didn't chase the spotlight. He chased the story. His breakout moment came in 1986 with Top Gun, where he played the cocky yet captivating Iceman. It was a role that made him a star overnight, but he didn't stop there. Instead of getting typecast, Kilmer sought out characters that challenged him. In 1991, he stunned audiences with his hauntingly accurate portrayal of Jim Morrison in The Doors, a performance that required not just acting talent, but total immersion. He even trained his voice to match Morrison's, and nailed it. Then came Batman Forever in 1995, where he stepped into one of the most iconic roles in film history. Replacing Michael Keaton was no easy task, but Kilmer made Bruce Wayne his own, bringing a quiet complexity to the character that balanced mystery with vulnerability. He continued to push boundaries with roles in Heat, The Saint, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Each performance different, yet unmistakably Kilmer. He had a way of disappearing into a part, making you forget you were watching an actor at all. Whether it was drama, action, or even dark comedy, Val Kilmer brought a level of commitment that made every scene feel alive. His body of work is a testament to what it means to be a true artist, bold, unpredictable, and completely devoted to the craft. But behind the legendary performances and red carpet appearances was a man quietly fighting one of the toughest battles of his life. In 2015, rumors began to swirl about Val Kilmer's health. Fans noticed changes: weight loss, a softer, raspier voice, but Kilmer remained silent. It wasn't until much later that he confirmed what many had feared. He had been diagnosed with throat cancer. For an actor whose voice had been one of his most powerful tools, the diagnosis was devastating. He underwent a tracheotomy, a life-saving procedure that permanently altered his ability to speak. The voice that once commanded scenes, that had given life to so many unforgettable characters, was reduced to a whisper. But even then, Kilmer never gave in to self-pity. He leaned on his faith, his children, and his enduring love for storytelling. He was private, sometimes misunderstood, and often reluctant to discuss his illness publicly. But those who knew him saw the quiet strength behind the silence. He refused to let cancer define him. Instead, he focused on creating, on reflecting, and on sharing his story in his own way, most notably through his memoir, I'm Your Huckleberry, where he opened up about his life, his career, and the personal challenges that shaped him. Val Kilmer wasn't just a fighter, he was a survivor. And through it all, he showed the world that even when life tries to take your voice, you can still speak volumes with your spirit. In 2021, Val Kilmer made a return to the big screen that no one saw coming, and everyone would remember. After years of silence, struggle, and a battle that had taken his voice, Kilmer once again stepped into the role that had made him a household name. Iceman. Top Gun. Maverick wasn't just a sequel, it was a moment. A cinematic reunion between two legends, Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise, that carried far more weight than any action scene ever could. Thanks to advanced AI voice technology, filmmakers were able to recreate Kilmer's voice, allowing him to speak in the film, even if only for a brief, emotional exchange. That scene, shared between Maverick and Iceman, wasn't just acting, it was real. It was powerful. And for fans who had grown up with the original Top Gun, it was nothing short of heartbreaking and beautiful. It was more than a cameo, it was a tribute. That's not just to Iceman, but to Val Kilmer himself. A reminder of the man who had once ruled the screen and whose presence still had the power to move millions, even with just a few lines. Against all odds, he found a way to return, and in doing so, he reminded the world that legends never truly leave the screen. They simply evolve. As Val Kilmer's health continued to decline, those closest to him knew that time was running short. But even in his final days, he faced the inevitable with grace, peace, and the quiet strength that had always defined him. Surrounded by his children, Jack and Mercedes, along with a small circle of close friends and family, Kilmer spent his last moments in the comfort of his home, far from the noise of Hollywood, and close to the people who mattered most. There were no cameras, no crowds, just love. His children stood by his side through it all. Jack, who followed in his father's footsteps as an actor, often spoke of how much he admired Val's courage, not just as a performer, but as a man. Mercedes, his daughter, had always been his emotional anchor. In her words, Val reminded her to focus not on what was lost, but on what could still be created. In the final days, there was laughter. There were stories. There were quiet moments of reflection. Friends visited to reminisce, not about the fame, but about the man behind the screen. The one who would obsess over perfecting a role, who loved art, who loved his family even more. And in those final hours, Val Kilmer found peace, surrounded by love, held in memory, and ready to rest after a life fully lived. Val Kilmer's funeral was nothing like the grand Hollywood events he once headlined, and that's exactly how he would have wanted it. It was a private, deeply emotional gathering held in a quiet, serene setting. Only his closest family members, lifelong friends, and a few trusted colleagues were present. There were no flashing lights or red carpets, just heartfelt words, shared memories, and the unmistakable weight of loss. His children, Jack and Mercedes, delivered moving eulogies that painted a picture of who Val truly was. Not just the actor, but the father, the mentor, the fighter. Jack spoke of his father's unwavering belief in him, of how Val always encouraged him to find his own voice. Mercedes reflected on the resilience she witnessed during his years of illness and the lessons he left behind: to create, to love, and to never give up. As the ceremony came to a close, a montage of Kilmer's most iconic roles played across a large screen. His voice, powerful, haunting, unforgettable, echoed through the room, reminding everyone just how much he gave to the world of film. It was a farewell filled with love, memory, and legacy. A final tribute to a man whose art lives on in every scene he ever brought to life. In the days following Val Kilmer's passing, Hollywood united in grief and in gratitude. Tom Cruise, Kilmer's longtime friend and Top Gun co-star, released a deeply emotional statement. He didn't just call Val a brilliant actor, he called him a brother. Cruise reflected on their decades-long friendship. sharing how filming Top Gun Maverick together was one of the greatest gifts of his career. He was a fighter, an artist, and a true legend, Cruise wrote. Fly high, my friend. You will never be forgotten. Robert Downey Jr., who starred alongside Kilmer in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, described him as a force of nature. His humor, his intensity, his kindness, he was one of a kind. We lost a legend today. His words resonated across social media, where thousands echoed the sentiment. Kevin Bacon remembered Kilmer as one of the most dedicated actors he had ever worked with. Angelina Jolie praised him as a true artist, someone who gave everything to his roles and inspired so many to do the same. And it didn't stop there. Kurt Russell, Michael Douglas, Ron Howard, Oliver Stone, all shared stories, memories, and tributes that painted a picture of a man whose influence went far beyond the screen. For those who had the privilege to work with him, Val Kilmer wasn't just a colleague, he was an inspiration. While Hollywood paid its respects, fans around the world created a tribute all their own. Social media became a living memorial, overflowing with memories, movie clips, and personal reflections. Hashtags like #RIP Val Kilmer and #I'm Your Huckleberry trended for days as people from all walks of life shared what Val Kilmer meant to them. Some posted scenes from Tombstone, The Doors, or Batman Forever, reliving the unforgettable characters he brought to life. Others shared photos, fan art, or stories of meeting him, brief encounters that left a lasting impression. One fan wrote, "I grew up watching Val Kilmer. He was my childhood. This one hurts." Another tweeted, "Val Kilmer wasn't just an actor. He was an experience. Every time he stepped on screen, you knew you were watching something special." Many revisited old interviews and behind-the-scenes moments, finding comfort in his humor, his honesty, and his undeniable passion for the craft. For fans, this wasn't just mourning a celebrity, it was saying goodbye to a piece of their lives, a voice that had shaped their love for movies. Val Kilmer's legacy had always extended beyond the screen. And now, in his absence, it was clear. He had touched more hearts than he would ever know. As the world continues to mourn, Val Kilmer's family is making plans to ensure his legacy lives on, not just in memory, but in celebration. A private memorial service is being arranged where close friends, family, and longtime collaborators will gather to honor his life. But beyond that, there are whispers of something more, a public tribute that fans around the world can be a part of. Jack and Mercedes Kilmer have hinted at an event that would showcase their father's greatest performances, personal interviews, and never-before-seen footage from his own archives. Hollywood is also expected to pay tribute in a big way. Directors and actors alike are pushing for a dedicated segment at the next Academy Awards, a heartfelt montage that captures the essence of who Val Kilmer was: an artist, a rebel, a legend. There's even talk of a full-length documentary chronicling his rise, his struggles, and his unmatched impact on cinema. But no matter what's planned in the months ahead, one thing is certain: Val Kilmer's legacy isn't going anywhere. It lives on in every role, in every fan he moved, and in every soul who saw themselves reflected in his work. His story was one of passion, pain, resilience, and love. And though he may be gone, the echo of his voice, his spirit, and his art will never fade. Val Kilmer may be gone, but the mark he left on the world will never fade. His characters, his voice, his passion, they're immortal now, living on in the films we'll watch for years to come. So now, we want to hear from you. What's your favorite Val Kilmer movie? Was it Top Gun, The Doors, Tombstone, Batman Forever, or something more personal, something that left a lasting impression on you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep his memory alive, together. If this tribute moved you, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story like this one. Thank you for watching, and as Val once said, I'm your Huckleberry.